everyone, and welcome back to another storytime video. And today I thought that it would be very fitting of me to retell a story that I told 5 years ago. Well, a little over 5 years ago. Now, this is the story of how I started to like Transformers. I recorded this Transformers Fall of Cybertron gameplay, and I thought, well, it's been a long time since I've told this story, and I figure, why not retell it? So this started, back, right after the first, Michael Bay Transformers movie came out. Back when my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, was alive, and I would be at my grandparents' house as a kid, the two of us would watch movies on Friday nights. Two movies that I distinctly remember. He and I, and sometimes my dad, would watch them too. I don't remember any specific movies when I would watch them with my grandfather and my dad, but there are two movies that stick out in my mind in particular. Harry Potter and the first Michael Bay Transformers film. And before watching the Michael Bay film, I did not know anything about Transformers. I didn't even know that they existed. Period. It's not like a thing where I saw it like a couple other things as a kid that I saw, and I didn't know what to make of that information back then, but now I know exactly what I was looking at. No, it was not a case like that, but rather, it was a case of I was never exposed to Transformers, period. And that was my first exposure, and of course, being a kid, I absolutely loved it, and one day, I got a bit bored, and I looked on that TV, and I'm like, well, let me search the program guide for, what was it? Transformers. Well, in my mind, I was like, I don't know what that was called, and then I was like, oh yeah, it was called Transformers. So I looked, and there was one, TV station. It was, called, I think it was the Hub. Yes, the Hub was showing older Transformers, like Generation 1, Transformers. And, I fell in love with it. And I found out relatively early into Transformers Prime, like right before season 1 aired. Like the pilot, the 5-episode pilot, I think it was 5 Faces of Darkness, had aired, and season 1 hadn't even aired yet. And I knew about the show, and I fell in love with it, and that's primarily how my love for Transformers started. My grandfather showed me a Michael Bay movie, the first one, and I kinda, few years later, found Generation 1 and Transformers Prime, and I really like Transformers still to this day, as you see. I wouldn't be playing the game that I recorded background gameplay for if I didn't enjoy Transformers. at least to a certain extent. But I really enjoy Transformers Prime. Well, okay, let me back up now that I'm kind of remembering. I kind of knew about Transformers Animated when it was out and releasing new episodes like in 2008 or 2009, but I guess I didn't really like the art style, and I still don't. I don't dislike it as much as I did back when I was a kid, but I I still I definitely prefer the Transformers Prime art style for sure. And as a matter of fact, I have a Transformers Prime Megatron figure that is always on my desk. It was on my desk when I was living with my mom when I bought it, and even after I've moved out, it's still on my desk to this day. Just because I love the character model and how Megatron is portrayed in that series so much. And even though Transformers Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron are okay games, and I think they're good games, Transformers Devastation, if you haven't watched my top 25 games of all time list, that game is pretty high up. I'm not going to say where exactly I've had it before in the past, but I think it is pretty cool. And I have not watched Robots in Disguise, the follow-up series to Transformers Prime, even though I've watched 1 or 2 episodes. It's decent, but I just don't know if I would want to watch it all the time. There was a time where on the Hub, which is, I think, now bankrupt. I mean, I don't see it anymore. It's been replaced by something else on my grandmother's TV. But anyway, or on that one TV. But anyway, Transformers Prime used to come out on Friday nights. No, it used to come out on Saturdays, I think. Either Fridays or Saturdays, and they changed to the other day. But yeah, it used to be on Saturdays and came on Fridays. But my point is that when it was on Fridays, one of my favorite things to do while that show was still on the air is that I loved to get done with school on Fridays, stop by my parents real quick, and then go to my grandmother's house or my grandparents' house to watch the new episode of Transformers Prime that came on at like 7 o'clock or so. So I always loved to eat and watch that show, and those are some memories when I was a teenager, and that I really enjoyed. Yeah, it came on Fridays later on in the series, but I am not disappointed how the show ended. Even the season 3 finale did not end horribly, and the movie did not end on a horrible note. And the movie did not ruin the ending of the season 3 finale. So you can watch the season 3 finale and never have watched the movie and not be disappointed at all. And so, in my opinion, you can have either ending be a good, true ending, and I would not be disappointed. Because, as sad as it had to end, I mean, it feels like Transformers series and shows and even these two games, Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron, they seem like they don't really last long enough. And Fall of Cybertron, the second game in that series, ended. I mean, they told all that they needed to tell, so I'm not disappointed. But Transformers Animated ran for like 2 or 3 seasons. Transformers Prime ran for that 5-episode pilot, I guess. Yeah, it would be a pilot. So it ran for that 5-episode pilot, and then it ran for 3 seasons, and then it ended with an ending movie. But I seriously would have loved for there to be a 4th or potentially even a 5th season. I mean, the original G1 series only lasted for 3 seasons, I believe, too. And I think it had that little introduction few episodes that Prime might have had. I don't quite remember. But it had a 4th... I put that in heavy quotations. A 4th season that we don't talk about around here. We don't talk about that here. We don't talk about that. But yeah, this also brings up a good thing in that I haven't played a Transformers game for this channel since August or July of 2019. After playing Transformers games for 2.5 years or so, I eventually want to replay all these games as series for YouTube again, as well as practically everything that I've completed. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I have said. I definitely did go deeper into detail than I did 5 years ago. Excuse me, so I'm satisfied with that. But yeah. And so yes, guys, I do believe that will do it for this storytime video and select storytime video. I will see you later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching.